Welcome back to the class, children. I am your social teacher and my name is Mrs. Jyoti. So we are in social studies, that is lesson 4, our government. So keep your term books ready and your pencil also ready. Open page 301 and be ready with your term books. So we have completed lesson 1, 2 and 3. Now we are in lesson number 4. So up to the mark till lesson 3, I hope you all have done your classworks and your textbook part and your practice book also well. So hope you all have written your quarterly exams also well and wait for the result, okay? And today we will start lesson number 4, and after lesson 4 there is a worksheet for us, and let us do that worksheet also. So be ready with your textbook. Page number 301. So lesson number 4, our government. Lesson number 4, our government. So government is the one which is going to help us to do our daily activities very easily, and they also look after us. Like if any road is not proper, so we are going to just write a letter to a government or the leader which is there near our home, or whoever is a leader to our area, we are going to write a letter, so that if we have any issue or if we have any problem, like if the street light is not proper or drainages are not proper, or if we want something else more, then we are going to write a complaint and we are going to give to a leader who is in our surroundings, and that leader is going to forward it to the government, so that the government is going to provide us some fund. Fund is nothing but the money which is required for doing the work. So in this way government is going to help us in other activities. So let us see what is government, who are the members of the government, who will be in that government, and what do they do for us, and how do people select, and how do the people select that people only as the people of the government. So let us see all these things from this lesson. So take your pencil, and there is a warm-up box for you here. So each and every country has its national flag, national symbols. Yes, even we also have the national symbols. Like we have national flag, national flower, national fruit, national animal, national tree, national game, like these different things we have. So here you have 4 pictures and you have to identify out of that which are our national symbols. So first one is national animal. So what is our national animal? It is tiger, but here the picture is lion. So cross it. Cross it in the sense, give a cross mark like this in the form of X. So the first one is wrong. Then the second one is lotus. It is lotus. Yes, the national flower is lotus. So give a tick mark. Then national bird. National bird is peacock. But here there is a sparrow. So it is wrong. Then the national flag. Our national flag is the Tiranga tricolor. So it is correct. So lion, and near the bird sparrow you have to give cross, and near lotus and near the flag you have to give the tick mark. So this is the warm up. Now moving on to the lesson. So below the warm up box you have the introduction part. On 15th August 1947, India attained its freedom by the British rule. So before 1947, that is till 14th of August, there were some people in our country who came from some other place, that is from British. They came here and they ruled us. They made us as slaves and they ruled us. So from that time onwards, that is from 15th August 1947 onwards, we got freedom. All the Britishers, they left away to their place. So the leaders of the country realized the need of certain rules and regulations to govern the country. So the people who fought for the freedom, they realized that now till then the Britishers were there. They ruled, they gave some rules and regulations. So they left the India and they went away. But what about the people who are in the country? So these people, the freedom fighters, they thought that there should be some rules and regulations which are applicable to all the people in the India. so that each and every person has to follow the rules. They have to follow the rules. They thought that each and every person has to follow the rules, and they started the guidelines for the India. So this lead to the idea of the formation of a constitution. Constitution is nothing but a set of rules. It is nothing but a set of rules where it is applicable for all the human beings living in India. The Constitution Assembly of India made the Constitution of India, which came into effect on 26th January 1950. So from 1947 till 1950, that is, there is a duration period of 3 years. So in these 3 periods, they have thought of many things and all, and they have written the Constitution of India. Constitution of India is nothing but a set of rules which are related only to India. So not only our country, if you go to other country also, there are some certain rules that you should not go here, you should not go there and all. And if you go to other countries, there are 2 type of people, like black people and white people. So black people are treated like slaves, and white people, they are treated like kings. And you should not throw the garbage on the roads. If you throw the garbage on the roads, they are fined and they are kept in the jail. But here in India, we do as if we want, right? So, but in other countries, they do not do any misbehaviors at all in the that particular place. So, like each and every country, like how we have certain rules and all, even other countries also have different rules. But here in India, all the people are treated equal. There are no whites and no blacks. There is no rich and there is no poor. Each and every people have the freedom to live. So, we got independence on 15th August. And the constitution was given on 26th January. This is from 1947 and this is in 1950. Okay. So there was a 3 years gap between this time to write the Constitution of India. What is which? So here there is an yellow colored box for you. So India is a socialistic, democratic, sovereign and republic country. India is a socialistic, democratic, sovereign and republic country. So what is the meaning of these 4 words? Let us see. Socialistic means all the citizens are treated as equal. Socialistic means all the citizens are treated equal. There is no handicap, there is no proper person, there is no rich, there is no poor, there is no black person, there is no white person. All the people are equal in India. Democracy. Democracy means that all the people of the country take part in its governance. That means that whenever elections are going on, so there is a all the people can take part in the voting session. There is no difference that only you have to take and you have to take and all. The people who are above 18 years, they can cast their vote for electing the leaders. Sovereign means that India is independent. That means each and every individual has the freedom to live in their own way. There is no person here to question why are you doing this, why are you doing that. There is no person to question here. You can live in your own style. Republic means the people of India elect their leaders by casting their vote. So each and every individual has a right to cast their vote. Now you are around 8 years or 9 years old. So after 10 years, you will also have the right to vote for a person. So our country is divided into smaller parts called as states and union territories. So India is very huge, right? So in the world, India is the 7th largest country. India is the 7th largest country. Now this India, it is again divided into smaller pieces. Now how a school is divided into classes and all, classes and sections. Now here also India is divided into states and union territories. is divided into states and union territories. So how many states are there? There are 29 states and 7 union territories. There are 29 states and 7 union territories. So each state has its own capital, and this division helps in the efficient administration of the country. Like India is there. The capital of India is Delhi. Now India is divided into 7 union territories and 29 states. Now each and every state also has its capital. Each and every state and union territory, they have their capitals. Capitals are nothing but the main place, the main city in that particular area. For example, in Telangana, Hyderabad is the capital. So Telangana is a state. Yes, so in Telangana, Hyderabad is the capital. Like in India, India is a country. Then here Delhi is the capital. Like that, each and every state has the capital. And what are union territories? Union territories are the small islands which are located in the surroundings of India. So these islands also they come under the union territories. Okay. Now let us move on to the next part. So in India, the government functions at two levels: the central government and the state government. The main functions of the government is to look after the welfare of the people of the country. So here we have two types of government. One is central and one is state government. So the central government looks after the whole country. The central government looks after the whole country, like how our principal madam looks after the whole school. And what is state government? State government looks only about that particular state, like class teachers. Class teachers only take care of that particular class. They don't deal with other classes. Now, third class teacher is there. Third class teacher deals with only third class children. But they do not go to second class and they don't take their problems, isn't it? There again, second class teacher is there to see their problems. Like this, each and every state has a person to look after the people over there. Central government looks after the whole country. State government looks only about the state. So moving on to central government. So what is central government? The government which looks after the whole country. The central government looks after the needs and welfare of the whole country. It makes laws for the entire country. The headquarters of the central government is in New Delhi, the capital of India. So here the central government is going to look after the welfare. That means what needs we have to do for the people who are there in India. And should we do any changes or any modifications? Like previously many people have made so many changes. Like now so many things have changed. So should we change again anything? Like that, the central government is going to look after these things. And if any problem is there for the people in certain area, they are going to look after them. For suppose if anywhere a big huge bomb blast is there and so many people have died. So the central government is going to look after that people. And if in coastal areas, so mostly there will be floods and all during rainy season and all. So in certain kind of areas, what happens is the water completely enters into the houses. So they don't have proper facility to live, they don't have proper facility to sleep or eat food. So the central government and state government together, they are going to look after the people who are there in coastal areas. So not only this, whatever problem arises in a huge manner, the central government is going to look after the people over there. And there is a headquarters for the central government, and it is located in New Delhi. So why it is located in New Delhi? Because New Delhi is the capital of India. It also governs the union territories. The president, vice president, prime minister and other ministers are officials of central government, work from New Delhi. The president of India lives in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So what are the people of central government? Here you can see. The people of central government are the president, the vice president, then the Prime Minister and the other presidents like Home Ministers and all other ministers. So all these people, they live in Delhi, or if they want to live in the surroundings also, they can live. But whatever work they are doing, they have to go to Delhi, and from there they are going to do. And the head of the country is the president. The head of the country is the president. So there is a bungalow allotted for the president, and that is called as Rashtrapati Bhavan. It is called as Rashtrapati Bhavan, and there the president is going to live. Now after a certain time of period, the president is going to change. Then the president from Rashtrapati Bhavan, he leaves, and the new president, whoever is there, they are going to enter the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And there are some headquarters which are allotted for the prime ministers, chief ministers and all. They give a special allotted bungalow so that they can live there and do their work peacefully. So this is about the central government. Now in the next session we are going to learn about the state government and what are the different functions do they do. So today what we have learned about when did we get independence, on 15th August, and our constitution was written on 26th January. Then we have two types of government, one is central and one is state. So about central government we have learned. In the central government we have president, we have vice president, prime minister and other ministers also. So the president is the head of the country and he lives in Rashtrapati Bhavan, and the capital of India is Delhi. So to function all the works properly, India is divided into 29 states and 7 union territories, and the central government looks after the union territories directly. But whereas 29 states are there, only the state government is going to look after the states. But what about the union territories? They don't have any state government. So these union territories are directly looked after the central government. So this is what we have learned today. And in the next session we are going to learn about the state government. And your homework is you have to write the meaning of socialistic, democracy, sovereign and republic. Okay. So you have to write the yellow box from page 302 one time in your homework book. So here is the 302 page and this is the yellow box. India is a socialistic, democratic, sovereign and republic country. So what is the meaning of that? It's written here. So all these lines you have to write. So read the lesson. Hope you all have understood up to here. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.